SCP-5847. The Foods Court. Before we start, please subscribe, like this video, and tickle the bell. You all know how the heartless algorithm works. Or do we? Maybe it could be a future SCP story? Special Containment Procedures. The Rhodes Plaza Mall has been bought and repurposed into Site-86. A pair of guards are stationed at each entrance. No food is to be brought inside SCP-5847. Description: SCP-5847 is the food court of the Rhodes Plaza Mall in Newcastle, Australia. It has two main anomalous effects. The first is that whenever a subject consumes food inside SCP-5847, it will morph into SCP-5847-1, a courtroom. SCP-5847-1 is fully populated by SCP-5847-2, which are sapient, animate foods resembling their non-anomalous counterparts in appearance but with the ability to anomalously perceive, vocalize, and locomote. Note: research into how SCP-5847-2 are able to do so is ongoing. It has been hypothesized from recordings that all SCP-5847-2 instances inside SCP-5847-1 are food the subject has eaten throughout their life. Once inside SCP-5847-1, the subject is transformed into a near facsimile of their previous appearance, but composed of what appears to be a thick cake icing. They must then defend the fact they eat food to a large piece of sugar candy. The only two rulings observed have been that the subject is not guilty and free to go, wherein SCP-5847-1 morphs back into SCP-5847, or that the subject is guilty of crimes against humankind and is sentenced to death, wherein an execucumber will consume the subject whole. The secondary effect of SCP-5847 is a mimetic effect affecting anyone inside the courtroom that causes them to unintentionally replace words they say with the names of foods. Addendum 5847-1 Transcription of security camera footage from a trial held inside SCP-5847-1. The following was recovered from a security camera set up in SCP-5847. For readability, the instance's colloquial names have been used in place of SCP-5847-2. Begin log. SCP-5847 is seen morphing into SCP-5847-1. Byloaf: please baguette to your seat, Defendant. Defendant: why do you think you can boss me around, ya big loaf? Byloaf: hey, I'm the yeast of your worries. The Byloaf smacks the Defendant on his back. Byloaf: so I'll say it again. Sit down. Defendant: fine, but stop doing that. You're starting to get on my nerves. Wait, what? A Tom Attorney sits down beside the Defendant. Tom Attorney: don't worry about it. That just kind of happens here. You'll get couscous to it. Defendant: who are you, Vanilla Exetractly? Tom Attorney: oh right, nice to meet you. I've been assigned as your public defense Aruga lawyer. Byloaf: all rise for the Honorable Fudge Hershey. Fudge: now, let us get this underway. Defendant: what is your name? Defendant: I am Josh. Fudge: Josh, you stand before a jury of your peers, and by that I mean pears you've eaten throughout your life, to defend the fact you have killed and eaten so many of us before. Let's start with your opening arguments. Defendant: I know this is hard to hear, but I promise I only ever ate any of you to stay alive. The pro-charcuterie gets up from the plaintiff's table. Pro-charcuterie: today I will convince you that Josh not only ate many of us, but ate us with delicious intent. The jury gasps. Pro-charcuterie: I'd like to call a witness to the stand. An egg rolls up to the stand. Pro-charcuterie: hello, Ms. Sunny Side Up. You all know Sunny as the hard-boiled cop who keeps our streets safe. But did you know Ms. Side Up was brutally attacked and eaten by Josh a while back when? Well, let Sunny tell you about it. Sunny: my memory of the event might be a little scrambled since it was pretty traumatic, but I'll tell the story as well as I can remember. It was early in the morning when that devil man kidnapped me and my fellow eggs. We could tell he was carting us off to his murder room. Note, presumed to be their name for a kitchen. Once we were there, we tried to hash things out with him, but he wouldn't listen. Things started to heat up. Literally, he threw us into a pan on top of some bread. That's when I knew I was French toast. Pro charcuterie. As you can see, Josh didn't just use Ms. Side Up for sustenance. Josh, did you kale Sonny with the only intent being penutrition? Or did you do it to have a good meal? Fudge. I'll ask you not to question the defendant at this time. Tom Attorney, I would now like to call a weakness to the stand. A bean bounces to the stand. Tom Attorney. Now, Mr. Bean, how was your experience with Josh? Bean. Lima, tell it to ya straight. There's nothing mean about Josh. I used to think he happily lived with the fact he called and ate us. It wasn't lentil. He opened our can and poured us into a bowl that had so mushroom for all of us. I realized Josh cared about our well-being too. Now I do not speak for everyone here, but I believe Josh is a good guy. He had been consuming us solely for nutritional value. Tom Attorney. Purely for nutritional value. Now that doesn't sound like a man who revels in food's grain for his own Turkish delight. Josh is a man who only eats us for his own survival. Do you need some more convincing? There cantaloupe be any better evidence than that. Fudge. One bean's experience does not speak for all foods. I rule in favor of the people. The defendant is a man who revels in causing food grain and a perpetrator of crimes against humankind. Call in the execucumber. Defendant. Crumb on man. I never realized you were all a chive. I want to call for an appeal. The defendant starts to get up and try and run, but the byloaf stops him. Byloaf. Hey, remain in your seat. Tom Attorney. This isn't fair. It hasn't been from the start. Your Honor. What are you? That's right, Fudge. You're way too biased to be a fudge. You're specifically crafted to be a treat for humans. It's not Josh's fault. His society has made it so okay to eat us. He should not be blamed for humanity's shortcomings. Fudge, this is getting out of hand. I take my rulings very seriously. You come in my courtroom and slander my name like this? You're out of line, byloaf. Escort him out. The byloaf grabs the Tom Attorney and takes it through the back doors. Byloaf, have fun carotting in prison. Tom Attorney, you cannot silence us. This is tyranny. The execucumber proceeds to consume the defendant. After the defendant has been eaten, the footage abruptly cuts to an empty SCP-5847. End log. Thanks for watching. Please like, share and comment. Subscribe and click the bell icon.